Welcome, everyone. Hello, I'm so happy you're here. My name is Janessia, and I am a manifestation coach, spiritual guide, and energy healer. And I have been doing intense healing work and been on an accelerated ascension journey for nearly half a decade now. And so I am here to bring you my tried and true top 5 healing techniques that you can use on a daily basis to raise your vibrational frequency and manifest your desires. So before we get into all of this, I just want to share a little bit of background about why this is so important, why your energy, why healing, why vibrational frequency is so important in order to manifest your desires. So no matter where you are on your healing journey, it is so important to remember that your energy is the most important aspect of your life. And I'm going to take you through why in a second, but I just want to emphasize that you are an energetic being. You hold energy in your body through your emotions, energy and motion, your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, all the same thing. And we hold our energy in our bodies. So it is our emotional state of being that creates our reality. And I know that sounds really cliche, and a lot of manifestation coaches say that. But this goes really, really deep, and I'm not going to go into the depth of that statement right now, but I just want you to sit with it and really understand how important your energy is, your emotional state of being is. Because I work mostly with the universal law of attraction. You attract what you are. We're going to go into that on the next slide. But the point of healing your energetic body, your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, your traumas, whatever emotional blockages that you're holding, the point is to raise your vibrational frequency with the goal of manifesting your desires. So this is my favorite visual that I like to show people in terms of why does your energy matter so much? Why does your frequency matter on Earth? Because everything is energy within the universe, and you exist at a frequency, and whatever frequency you exist at, you're going to pull experiences into your reality that reflect the state of your existence. So if you are vibrating at a low vibrational frequency, right, out of fear, out of pain, if you're in survival mode, if you're suffering, if you have financial struggle, if you have that instability in your 3D reality, it's because there's something inside of you that's creating that struggle. So energy has patterns, and as you can see here, it kind of flows up in a spiral motion. And when you raise your vibrational frequency, when you release all of the limiting beliefs and the traumas that are creating the struggle in your life, right? All of the anger and the fear and the guilt and the shame, when you release that through healing, you are able to raise your frequency and actually manifest what it is that you desire. Whether that's a vacation, whether that's living a luxury lifestyle, whether that's, a partner and a family and a happy home. You could have wealth, you could have an easy life, right? Everyone has different desires, and those desires are meant for you. They're placed in you for a reason. And so when you raise your vibrational frequency, that is how you meet your desires in the physical. So I find this fascinating. This is where science meets spirituality, right? Because everything, it's physics, it's proven, whereby everything has a frequency. And spirituality comes in where it's like your self-awareness is really what matters here. Your awareness on yourself and what is causing, what feelings you're having, what thoughts you're having, and how that is directly affecting your life. So what I'm going to take you through here is how to heal, how to raise your vibrational frequency, because everyone deserves to live in the frequency of love and abundance and peace and joy. Okay, regardless of the external narrative, I'm going to show you how to do that. So another little visual here to drive this home, we have to go from feeling negative emotions, which let me just clarify here. As humans, we're all meant to experience all sorts of different emotions. And that is the human experience. What I'm talking about here is your baseline frequency. So what you feel most of the time, okay? And that's actually something that you can tap into right now. And like, how do you feel throughout the day most of your time? And how is that creating how is that creating a reality? So if you're feeling most of the time discouraged, worried, overwhelmed, frustrated, powerless, maybe you feel like there's an external agenda that is controlling you. If you're stuck in fear, right, self-hatred, okay, you're going to have a pretty hard life. And this is like a part of a bigger picture that I'm not going to get into now. But because your energy is creating your reality and you're holding all of this trauma and self-limiting beliefs inside of you, you're manifesting every moment of every day through your energy. You're going to keep manifesting the same situations over and over and over again until you come to that self-awareness and you heal that thing inside of you that's creating the struggle. So your life is on repeat. Nothing's going to change unless you heal your energy. And that also means that it's 100% your responsibility. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. This has nothing to do with the external narrative. It has nothing to do with anyone else. This has everything to do with you and your energy and taking control over all of the feelings and the traumas that you have in your life. Because ultimately we want to go from the negative to the positive, right? We want to experience the freedom, right? Doing what you want, when you want, how you want, living life on your terms, having that luxury, having that strength, having that connection. That's really what we're going for here. And how do you do that? You heal, you raise your vibrational frequency, and stay tuned, pay attention, because I'm about to enlighten you on all of that. So how do we do that, right? How do we go from pain, suffering, fear, grief, financial struggle, abuse, whatever your life feels like to you that's not working, whatever feels stuck to you, how do you go from that to living the life of your dreams? That is the question. And the answer is to raise your vibrational frequency. To release what is no longer serving you within your energetic body, these low vibrational emotions. And as your vibrational frequency increases, your life upgrades automatically. Okay. This is a co-creation process with the universe. I have other courses about co-creation and working with the universe, so I'm not going to get too into that right now. But when you work with your energy, you work in the quantum field. And so when you release what's not working in your life, when you release some trauma or low vibrational emotions, your life shifts. Okay. You shift realities, you shift timelines, and this is how your life gets better. And it can happen very quickly if you want to, because working in the quantum realm has nothing to do with working in the 3D. In the 3D, most people believe that, you wake up, you eat breakfast, you go to work, you come home, you watch Netflix, and you go to bed. That's a 3D reality. That's a linear reality. You're the same person. You're living the same life, regardless if you're going to get a different job, a different relationship. Nothing fundamentally is going to change if you're the same person. So the point is to have the self-awareness, go within, release what's not serving you, heal your energetic body, and then you step into the upgraded job, the upgraded relationship, the upgraded life, right? So this is an inside game, and it's possible to do this with your energy because no one can control your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions except for you, right? So it doesn't matter what the external agenda is, which is so important right now because of the state of the world and the chaos that's happening. It doesn't matter. There's no one that can control you and your reality because you are the creator. You are the God of your life. And if you can truly believe that, you are living in an empowered state and you can achieve your desires, you can manifest anything that you want to. So it's time to step into your power through your healing journey. And this is, if you take your healing journey seriously, you are going to go on an ascension journey, which is raising your vibrational frequency, right? Adjusting to different frequencies in the quantum field in your physical life. And this creates a deep connection with yourself and others. And it is an incredibly powerful, sometimes painful journey to go on. So what you have all been waiting for, my much awaited thank you for your patience on this background information. I just feel like it's so important as an energy healer that you really understand how impactful your energy is and your emotional body is. So I'm going to take you through the top 5 healing techniques, the most powerful ways that I heal and maintain my vibrational frequency every single day in order to meet my manifestations in the physical realm, so you can do this too. Number 1, I am always looking for ways to release the negative out of my life. I like to describe this, if you think about your life as a jar of sand, like a mason jar, and it's packed full of sand, and you're trying to manifest, and you're trying and trying and trying, you're all of these different techniques, and you're like, nothing's working, nothing's coming in. Why aren't my manifestations here? And it's because your jar of sand is packed full. You need to release a little bit out of the bottom what's not serving you. Okay, this could be unsupportive people in your life, unhealthy relationships, bad habits, toxic job situations, limiting beliefs, limiting habits. Okay, even like clutter in your home, cleaning things out can be helpful. So as you release, you're creating energetic space in your life for new things. And these things, because you're choosing to release what's no longer serving you, because it's your choice to allow what you want in your life, the universe is going to fill that void with blessings. It's going to come in, and manifestation's a co-creation process, as I said. The universe knows your highest and best good. So whatever you release out of your life, these attachments, right, that you have, the higher your frequency will be, the closer you will be to your manifestations. So if you think about your day-to-day life, what is it that creates bad feelings, right? And when we talk about emotional bodies, I really like to think about, like, just to break it down to the most simple level, what feels good and what feels bad. So what in your life doesn't feel good? And not only are these emotions attached as a low vibrational frequency, it's kind of pulling you down, right? Think about the content you consume. Think about the news. Think about, whatever like shows that you decide to watch. It's all consumption. Like, what are you consuming, and can you cut sort of that negative out of your life? So for example, we have very little control about the political landscape right now. The news is a fear-based program. It's called programming for a reason. It's all over the place. It's meant to cause chaos. All of the reporting on the war and the crime and the disease and the conflict. Okay? This does not feel good. So don't allow it into reality. Release it. Because these programs that are creating this lack, this fear, this worry, it's impeding your self-development, right? It's impeding your ability. It's distracting you from your energy and your frequency, because that's all that matters when you want to manifest your desires. And look, the chaos is always going to be there, right? There's always going to be the abuse and the struggle that the world is dealing with. But the question is, like, what are you doing to help that? And the answer is probably very little, right? There's very little that you have control over right now in the political and the world at large, unless you go within, heal your energy, and then share your gifts, right? Unless you are the light, unless you release the darkness out of yourself, because it's the individual that creates the change. So as much as possible, I urge you to cut out the negative programming, the negative content that you're consuming, these shows that are creating fear and lack in your life. Okay? Where you pay attention, your energy flows and it expands. This is currency. This is the energy is your universal currency. So if you are think about how powerful that really is. If you're putting your energy into the fear and the worry of the state of the world, it's just going to expand that in your life and for the entire collective. If you're watching this, you're already an awakened soul. You know the path towards your power, right? We're no longer in the victim mindset. So take control of your life by choosing where you want to put your focus and release the negative out of your life. Allow your frequency to increase, and this is how you come into your authenticity, right? And your power, and being a magnet to your desires, because your desires, there's no room for the chaos. There's no room for the fear and the war and and the abuse and the suffering in your desired reality. The second way to heal yourself and raise your vibrational frequency, and this is something that I practice every single day, this is a way to protect my peace, is to set boundaries and say no. And I know this is, it sounds really simple, and you might be thinking, well, this isn't any sort of special technique. Well, I have had a lot of experience in setting boundaries and having my boundaries crossed. And setting boundaries and saying no truly is healing the worthiness aspect of yourself on a daily basis. So however you allow people to treat you, this is how you teach others how you want to be treated. Right? By saying no, it means that they're only going to treat you in a certain way. And the way that you feel like you deserve to be treated, this goes for jobs, environments, situations that you are not comfortable with, right? If you say no, that is not for me. It shows the universe that you deserve better. This is so powerful when you are in alignment with your truth and you say no to the people, places, and things, right? If you set the boundaries about what doesn't make you feel comfortable, you're not only telling the universe that you deserve whatever it is that you desire because you're worthy, but you're also protecting your peace. Okay. So this is not about controlling others. You have 100% control over your life, how you respond. So someone can be angry, confrontational, right? Call you names, people, whatever, try to abuse you, any sort of negative behavior in your life. If you can pinpoint that and say, no, I actually deserve better than that. It doesn't matter what they say or do, because you're choosing you're choosing your peace. And that is 1000% going to raise your frequency and allow the universe to give you your desires. If you have a hard time setting boundaries and saying no, you may be in what's called a fawning stress response. So I also talk a lot about nervous system regulation. Check out my storefront because I have a whole nother course on this. Regulating your nervous system is how you manifest. Our nervous system holds our trauma. And so if you have a hard time setting boundaries and saying no, you're in a fawn stress response. So there's 4 different nervous system states. There's based on the trauma that you've been through. There's freeze, there's fawn, there's fight, and there's flight. This is just really, really high level overview, but to pinpoint this for your information, if you're in a fawn response, you may also have people-pleasing tendencies. You might find yourself walking on eggshells with people. You might care a lot about how other people think about you. And this comes fundamentally from wanting to appease the threat. So for example, in olden days, if you were being chased by a lion, your survival instinct is to camouflage. You kind of shrink down, you're afraid to be your authentic self. You appease the threat so they don't kill you. And when you are growing up in a household, this was the majority of my trauma. My childhood trauma was narcissistic abuse and trying to appease my caregivers because I was always in the wrong, right? I wasn't good enough. And so you could be over explaining, maybe avoiding conflict, having perfectionism. These are all symptoms of being in a fawn stress response. So just to bring that to your awareness, if you have a hard time setting boundaries and saying no, this is why. So I consciously choose every single day to avoid the drama and avoid judging people. Okay. It is so healing to only worry about yourself. It is so healing to only worry about yourself. And so instead of worrying about what other people think or forming opinions on other people, judging them, stop doing that because you're giving your energy away. And when you give your energy away, you're going to find yourself in a low vibrational frequency. You want to keep the energy for yourself because the more energy you have, the more power you have to manifest. So drama is triggering, right? And if you're in an angry or an overly emotional state on a regular basis, you're going to have a hard time finding that happiness and that joyful and content, the frequency of where your manifestations are. The drama and the bullshit is basically bringing you down. So you have to consciously choose to not engage. And listen, judging other people for their decisions and whatever they're going through is in their life is worthless because everyone's on their own journey, right? Everyone's in their own path and no one's life is going to look the same. So why would you judge someone doing something differently? We've been through so many different lifetimes, okay? And we've all been the victim. We've all been the abuser. We've all been rich. We've all been poor. Okay, we've all made our own decisions. There's no point in judging others. Now, I also want to bring to your attention that talking trash about other people is reflective of yourself. So your subconscious mind doesn't actually know the difference between you talking trash about other people and you talking trash about yourself. And that's really powerful information. And you can actually turn this around and ask yourself, what are you talking about other people about? Because that's the exact wound that you're experiencing. So you can turn your judgments and your drama inward and look inside of yourself, right? Your self-awareness is going to point to where you need to turn your attention in your healing journey. So on a day-to-day basis, consciously, this is something I practice a lot because it's so easy to get pulled in to the drama and the talking about other people behind their back and the judgment. Just worry about yourself. Just worry about yourself. Eating whole foods will heal your body. So eating whole foods is going to raise your vibrational frequency. What you put in your mouth, what you consume, directly affects your gut-brain connection. And it has everything to do with your mood and your clarity and your focus and your energy levels. I have so much experience with how I feel after eating processed foods and after I eat whole foods. It is literally night and day. I ate processed foods, junk foods, fast foods for like a good decade in between my 20s and 30s. And I felt depressed. I was sad. I was angry. I was moody. And it's convenient, right? And I get it. And I'm not judging anyone because look, I've been there. I had an eating disorder. And the truth is, when I healed my body through eating whole foods and through other healing techniques, my life got so much better. This is not to be underestimated, okay? And if you are someone who still eats processed food, fast food, etc., I challenge you to start eating whole foods, okay? High quality protein and fruits and vegetables, organic where possible, for even 1 week, 3-4 days, and watch how much better you feel. Watch how much more energy you have to get shit done throughout the day. And that's the entire point, right? We want more energy. We want a higher frequency. As a higher frequency we are, the closer we are to our manifestations. That's how you meet your manifestations in the physical. You harness your energy. So there's so much more to say about the dangers of processed foods, the additives, the preservatives, the chemicals, the bioengineered food products, right? All of the ingredients, like that long ingredient list where you go check out the ingredients of the food that you're buying. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. All of that food is toxic to your body. The toxins are blocking your manifestations. Okay, I saved the best for last. This is by far my most powerful healing tool that I use every single day. So anything that happens in my life, and I urge you to take this perspective, anything that happens, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, but it's easy when bad things happen to believe that we're the victim and it's happening to us, and we fall into this, oh, poor me, I can't believe this is happening, it's out of my control. Believe that everything is happening for you. As much as possible, find the silver lining. This is like the ultimate alchemist tool. So like, as Albert Einstein said, energy is not created or destroyed. So you have your own energy in your body. There's no other way to get more unless you alchemize it, unless you change the negative into the positive. So if you can look at your life every day and whatever negative is happening, and you find the silver lining and you find the positive and you find the reason why it's happening for you, you are going to skyrocket your life. And as I mentioned in the beginning, because you're manifesting every moment of every day through your energy, you're basically, you're going to keep manifesting the same thing over and over and over again in your life. But the reason why that same situation is showing up for you, like for example, in relationships where you're attracting partners that are avoidant, that maybe don't commit, right? That don't come home at night. If you're continuing to manifest the same type of person, that's happening for you so that you can identify that pattern and then go in and heal it. So this is an incredibly powerful tool. I've used it before, like I found the silver lining in, like, I endured narcissistic abuse pretty much my entire life. And I found the silver lining to that. There's always a reason why things are happening for you, and it's giving you the opportunity to heal, raise your vibe, and manifest your desires. Okay, I couldn't leave these out. These are honorable mentions. This, like, again, like little things that I do that heal my energy and raise my vibe every day. Getting out in nature. Nature is the highest frequency because nature is its source energy, right? It's God. It's incredibly high vibrational. So when you surround yourself in a forest, or if you go to the beach, or whatever closest nature is to you, right? Mountains, whatever it is, go sit in the grass, go sit next to a tree. I gain immediate clarity as soon as I go for a walk. What is it that I need to do next in my life that is going to bring me to the next level? Okay, you're going to ask that question, and it will automatically boost your mood. The same thing with exercise. It creates endorphins. Exercise isn't just for weight loss. It's for energy. You're creating more energy when you exercise, and the more energy we have, the more powerful we are, right? The more ability we have to manifest our desires. And so if you move your body every day, even if it's just like a little bit of intuitive movement, stretching, going for a light walk, it doesn't have to be crazy, you're going to feel better. And when you feel better, you're closer to your manifestations. Slowing down is so underrated when we're in this sort of hustle and grind survival mentality. Your calendar is booked, but at the same time, you're trying to manifest something different in your life. There's going to be no room for you to receive if you're not slowing down, if you're not doing something differently. Doing nothing is productive. I have had some of my best ideas come in, my most profitable ideas come in while I'm doing nothing. This is a feminine energy, right? Of being in the ease and flow and the receiving of information from the universe. So I really hate to pack my day. I always leave room to take a few moments for myself in a quiet, safe place, take a few meditative breaths, okay? If you're trying to manifest your desires, you need that time and space for yourself in order to receive, in order to really embrace that healing energy, to access your self-awareness, to know how to move forward. I mentioned briefly before nervous system regulation. Really tap into that. I'm not going to say too much more about that, but your trauma and your beliefs and your thoughts and your energy is held in your nervous system. So healing your nervous system, regulating your nervous system is how you raise your vibe. Connecting with a higher power. Sorry, you can't see power there. My head's in the way. I check out my storefront, love talking, check out my content about connecting with a higher power. This has raised my vibe so much. This has been so healing for me to find my faith and know that everything is happening for me, right? That I'm being taken care of, that I'm protected. Being able to connect with a higher power, connecting with your higher self, connecting with your angels, guides, ancestors. It is all an incredibly important part of your healing journey. And I highly recommend this on a daily basis just to connect with a higher power. And last but not least, detoxing. I'm obsessed with detoxing. Okay, we live in an environment with so many toxins in the air that we breathe, and the water that we drink, and the food that we eat, right? The microplastics in our clothes, like the list literally goes on. So I have a whole nother course module on healing your physical body through gut health, balancing hormones, and detoxing. So make sure you check that out. It is not to be overlooked. As you release the toxins out of your life, you're going to heal your body. You're going to raise your vibrational frequency. So just a quick, I love this slide, and this is just a quick view on like what's sucking your energy and what's giving you energy, right? What's hurting you and what's healing you. And so just take a quick look, take a screenshot and really consider where you are with your energy on a daily basis. So in summary, everything has a vibrational frequency, including you. You hold your frequency through your energy, which is your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. It is your energy body, your emotional body, and you want to be in the highest frequency in order to manifest your desires. Healing is the fastest way to raise your vibrational frequency and manifest the life of your desires, whatever that means to you. So the top 5 healing techniques that I use on a daily basis to raise my vibe, to keep a high vibe, and to continue to manifest the life of my dreams, to continue to quantum shift, right? To continue to shift timelines and just live a happy, fulfilled, peaceful life. Okay. Always taking the opportunity to release whatever negative is in my life, people, place, thing, bad habit. This comes from your self-awareness to pinpoint and understand what is no longer serving you and release, release, release. Set boundaries and say no. This is a practice. If you have a hard time with it, you need to heal your trauma related to the fawn response. But this will 1000% sort of weed out how the struggle is appearing in your life. When you say no and set those boundaries, you're teaching other people how to treat you and what you deserve. This is related to your worthiness. Manifesting your desires, you need worthiness in order to manifest your desires. Avoid the drama, avoid the bullshit, avoid judging people. And instead of giving your energy away, right, talking about other people, you want to keep that for yourself. You want to keep your power so that you can focus on your self-awareness and your healing journey. And so you can step in, right? The whole point of manifesting your life and your desires is to come into your higher self, to come into your authenticity so that you can serve humanity. If you're here and you're on this path, if you're awakened and you're on your healing journey, you're probably in service to others. So you're not going to be able to serve, you're not going to be able to serve your purpose or your mission when you're worried about other people. And if you are worried about other people, right, if you're worried about the state of the world, if you're worried about the chaos and destruction and corruption, the best way to create change in the world is through your energy, stepping into your authenticity and practicing your gifts. That will help the collective more than ruminating on the fear, ruminating on what's out of your control. Okay, so go within, focus on your healing, and that is how you're going to continue to raise your vibe and achieve your dream life, your goals, the money, the love, the connection, etc. Eating whole foods, that's a daily practice, right? And it might take a while. Be gentle on yourself. Processed foods are everywhere. It's super convenient, but just keep in the back of your mind that the whole foods is really going to give you the energy you need to go after your dreams, to manifest whatever it is that you desire. And finally, last but not least, believe that everything is happening for you. Alchemize that negative energy into positive energy. So here we are. We made it to the end of this course. I hope you enjoyed this information. I hope that it was helpful for you. Um, if you are on a healing journey and you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to check out my storefront, make sure to check out my socials. I talk about everything healing, vibrational frequency, conscious creation, manifestation. I've lived this for about 5 years now, and it is my passion. The whole idea is to heal and raise your vibe and manifest your desires. That is how you do it. So I will see you in the next one.